Mackie won their second game for the season, and well done to the guys at Mackie for persisting. They made 198 on week 1 with Craig Park top scoring 55, Dale made 41, and Marshall bowled, I think, 28 overs or something like that and took 6 for 64, which is a great effort. And Robbie DeHaan took 2 for 63.
That's what's going to happen there. They're just going to bowl from an end each, these guys. But
yeah, just about. In reply, Elwood, final spot. I think they were second on the ladder before this week, and unfortunately couldn't chase, and finished all out for 140 with Mustard top scoring with 25. So Lavery took 4 for 10 and Supray 3 for 39 for Mackie, which is good for them, with some younger guys taking wickets.
What gets them out of that relegation?
Yeah, well, they virtually saved themselves from that now. But yeah, look, there's question marks on Elwood and whether they can sustain their form over 72 over periods.
I don't think Harris played. Not too sure. I think Nathan's away.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I don't know who they got in the last game of the year, but
I think they've got a couple of games which they do expect to win.
Okay.
Some
so they might sneak in, but it'll be interesting if they can post a decent. I don't think they've made a huge score this year. I know there's been a lot of one-day games, but it's not as if I don't think any of their batsmen are really dominated this year. So, like you just said, come 72 over cricket, they're going to need someone to get them up around that 250.
That's right. And so I guess having said that, most teams who are vying for those final 4 spots are playing games that they should expect to win. Now we'll move to the ladder shortly, but another interesting game was LePage Park it was a one-day game because week 1 we saw Ravon lurking about watching our game. Having a decent chat with Mel Lane at the president of Amiga. They were just having a chat, talking about life. But either way, they were washed out because of there was a loose sprinkler which caused a bit of a wet puddle.
Was that early?
It was early, and Hurling and Brighton Union were very happy to play, and the umpires were pretty comfortable with whichever way the teams wanted. But LePage Park weren't too keen at all, and they weren't very happy about it. The Union blokes felt that they might have been a little bit vulnerable against them in a one-day game.
We did that a few years ago. I remember it was funny. We it was against me when Keith was around, and we bowled at them the first week. They made about 220, and they're walking off, and 220 on cricket is hard to chase and all this sort of, which it is. And then I remember that Thursday was Oaks, and we were at Oaks, and we punched on all that sort of stuff with them, and then come on the Saturday, because it was quite wet. The ground was pretty good, and it was just this puddle sort of just in the back corner. That's it.
And there's no point.
The umpires offered the draw
3 points,
and then we ended up making the finals that year. So, geez, that was funny. So it's
maybe there's those kinds of things. Maybe Bana had history with that because he would have been playing for Amiga back then.
Maybe that's why what's his name, Casey, always chirps off at the boundary because he's still upset about those sort of things going on.
He's
annoying. He is.
Well, that's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to get into the opposition's heads.
I think it's counterproductive at the end of the day because they don't.
Well, what it did
gets our backs up and
not only that, it highlighted how very quiet the Amiga boys are in regards to supporting their own teammates. Actually, the guys in the 11.
He was the first one to jump ship though when I think they lost their 7th wicket. I think he packed the bags and took off. So it was a shame he wasn't there to have a beer. But anyway.
But so week 2 and LePage Park, they batted first and made 741 with Taranto making 46 not out. JWC took 4 and Stewie Bell took 3 as well. Yeah, and in reply, Brighton Union passed them 6 down with Anno making 53 and Avan making some good runs there with 35. And I guess a very important note, which probably impacted on the result of the game, was the injury to Steve McConkey, who dislocated his shoulder bowling in the first over of the Brighton Union innings. You would imagine, and he is LePage's most accomplished batsman and bowler, and losing their best bowler and then passing 6 down, probably,
you've got to find
the other way around.
You've got to find 8 overs from someone else who probably wouldn't have bowled those overs. So, I'd be interested to see if they just took their time because how many overs were left in the game. But again, Brighton, they're just not putting their foot on any opposition's throats to sort of say that we are a team. That's not as if they've got it 2 or 3 down, which you'd probably expect from a team who can boast Con and all these guys in the middle order. I'd just be expecting them to really punish these sort of lower order teams. But
not convincing enough. I think that's the final point. And in the last game, West Bentley made 171 with Damien Casey making 69. And Kingston Heath fell in a rut and were all out for 58. Actually, Kingston Heath batted first, making 58 with Chopper Reid taking 5 wickets, and your mate Joey Silver took 2 for 3. So he does.
Adds it to his other 5.
He took 6 for in a game.
So he's got 8 wickets for the year.
Yeah, and so in reply, West Bentley they'd taken the 6 points overnight, but they made 171. And I guess trying to push for extra points, but in the end, Kingston Heath finished under 79.
It's disappointing. Kingston Heath, I just would have expected to do a bit better than that. Cause again, they've shown that they've been improved and on the improve. And against West Bentley too, that we've only won a couple of games before this game as well. Yeah. So I heard some whispers on Saturday about West Bentley. We're talking about relegation and who's going to go down and all the rest of it. It got thrown out that West Bentley's finances aren't as healthy as what they should be, and maybe the club is not insolvent, becoming insolvent, but close to zero in the bank.
Well,
so
I think that,
if
you just give the president a phone call, surely he could top up the finances.
Well, look, I don't know. I'm just I don't know how involved the president is down there with his wallet, but it was West Bentley, if they've got no money, maybe they will go down. But, or maybe they'll.
As long as they're up to their
surely they've got 40 teams, so there's subs for.
They're a strong club, and I would imagine they would have made a few bucks out of the Battle of Glen Ira on Wednesday as well, which and then they do.
But anyway, that was just a whisper I wanted to throw out there. With all this media and push-ups and coming
up. And also. Mark Reid's always said, look, if the CMCA had an opportunity to drop West Bentley, they'd do it hands down. But, they're a good side, West Bentley. They do have quality cricketers. And, I'd say that this season's pretty much an aberration when it comes to, how good they really are. You've got the Holmeses and the Reids and Fiddlers, etc. So they are, and McLeod's, they're a good side. And they just need to get their boys on the park. Their best.
Maybe the fact that Con couldn't play at the start of the year took the wind out of them a little bit.
Maybe.
They've picked up 2 wins or 3 wins.
So going on to the
and on the record, wouldn't want to be one of the teams playing in the next 2 rounds because they'll come out pretty hard trying to account for what's happened this year. And
with a bit of luck, they may play a role in shaping the fall. So when we move to the finals, Bentley United are on top on 54 points. And then you've got 4 teams on 36 points. Brighton Union with the superior percentage on 36. Then there's East Sandringham in 3rd spot, Elwood in 4th spot. And then Hampton Central and their loss against Bentley Uniting dropped them to out of the 4. Having said that, between 4th and 5th, there's very little in it percentage-wise. 1.24 versus 1.23 basically. So, and then I guess mathematically, A&A there at 6th on 30 points. But with an inferior percentage as well. So depending on what happens this game, I guess we just got to focus on beating LePage and see what happens after that. So A&A playing LePage this week, and obviously the loss of McConkey is a major plus for us. So less excuses in regards to.
And it's a good thing too. It's not a one day where you're limited to what you can do, especially with the ball. So being the fact that it is a 72 over game, he'd probably bowl 15 plus.
Most likely. So
they're going to have to find that from someone else.
Yep.
But the way that we have played and just playing these 3 games, there's a lot to work with, and there's only positive signs. Again, the bowling is top class, and I'd be surprised if the bowling would go for anything over 200 against LePage. So it just comes down to the senior guys just making the most of these starts. Hopefully it generates 100 out of a wide or a bigs. We're getting these consistent starts can flow onto 100. And Brad Lowell getting runs again, so exactly right. So things are, it's just a shame you guys lost that Hampton Central, but